Congratulations on hitting the end of this chapter. And this chapter was really about doing operations and manipulating the data that you have stored in your variables. The first thing we saw was that we could do arithmetic operations on the data. We can add things up, multiply, divide. We also saw the modulus operator, which may seem weird for beginners, but we had a chance to really play with us. After that, we learned about precedence and associativity. We saw that that's a set of rules we have to follow to know which operation to do first if we have multiple operators in our expression. We also had a chance to learn about prefix and postfix, increment and decrement operators. We had a chance to do compound assignments, things like plus equal, minus equal, multiply equal, modulus equal. Now these things must be making sense to you. We had a chance to look at how we could compare things using relational operators like greater than, lesser than, and equal or not equal. We also had a chance to look at output formatting, and we saw a host of things we could do to make data show up better with stdc out. After that, we learned about numeric limits, and this is a cool way to know the ranges for your data types, but there are a host of other properties you can use in this limits library. We learned a little bit about math functions, and we played with things like the power of something, the exponential, the few rounding functions that we have in the CMath library. And now you must have a good idea about these functions that you can use to manipulate and do math on your variables. We ended the chapter by looking at some weird integral types, and the main message in that lecture was that you can't do arithmetic operations on data types whose size is less than 4 bytes in memory. If you try to do that, the compiler is going to insert implicit conversions, and if your application depends on the size of things, this is something you need to be careful about. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time finding these problems. This is really all we did in this chapter. I hope you found it interesting. We are going to stop here in this chapter. In the next one, we're going to learn about literals and constants. That's a really cool subject. Go ahead and finish up here and meet me there.